Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, C.O. Anthony, and my main man, Bryce Ward. Bryce,
Look, you almost messed
as
up the intro. You
always,
pulled it off.
I didn't fuck up the intro, sir.
I
You
said you
interrupted
almost
me, and I
did.
said, I know, but you interrupted me, so technically you fucked up my intro. I didn't fuck up the intro.
Hmm.
As always, to our fans of the Hardwood Nation, we keep it real and we keep it raw. Um, we had some movement this week, Bryce. We had some speculation last week, but this week some of that speculation became reality. Um, Klay Thompson said goodbye to the Golden State Warriors and has joined the Dallas Mavericks over the Los Angeles Lakers, who actually offered him more money. So let me ask you this question. Where's Klay? Where do you feel Klay is a better fit, Dallas or actually the Lakers?
Um. Hmm. Probably Dallas. Um. I have like a personal thing against the Lakers. Always have. So it's like whenever they lose out on a player, I don't feel bad about that at all. So I would say Dallas just because the other team was the Lakers. I can't help it. So I'm definitely glad he went to Dallas. Um, it's got stated before he moved that he really wanted to stay in the West. So I mean, he got what he wanted, and like I said, I'm just glad he didn't go to the Lakers. I get tired of seeing that shit.
So wait, in other words, you're a hater with the Lakers getting free agents. In other words, that's what you're saying. That's what you're telling
Yeah,
people.
yeah, and I don't follow baseball, but if anything happens to the Yankees, I'm always happy that it either did or didn't happen because I just from a child stand like from my childhood standpoint, I got tired of it. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that always going to bring up Shaq leaving, but it's definitely a thing I think about from time to time. And so any team that just is able to sign whoever they want all the time and you know affected my childhood, that stays with me. So I don't think I haven't forgot about the Lakers. So it's like when something bad happens, I just low key I'm like, oh, okay, it didn't work out for them this time. That's good. That's good.
So this really goes back to Shaq.
Well, also it's not just Shaq. If Shaq went someplace else, it wouldn't have been as bad. It's just it's the same thing as like the Yankees do the same thing in baseball. They'll buy up whoever just the best player is. And I get it when
Mhm.
you have that reputation, you got the money, you can do whatever you want. It's just it's nice to see when it doesn't happen. And so with this Klay Thompson signing, yeah, I was happier to see him go to Dallas for sure.
Got it. From a basketball standpoint, do you think Klay would help any team that he would go to? Lakers, Magic, Dallas, whoever. He would help any team as long as they utilize him right. I mean, we can say that for any player, but specifically with an aging player whose defense has fallen off a little bit and his scoring numbers have dropped just a little bit. Um, some of that, of course, due to injuries. Do you think? Let me back up. The second half of the season, when Dallas made those mid-season trades, it really surrounded Luka with the most talent that he's ever had. In the playoffs, in the finals specifically, the wheels fell off after Dallas was one of the hottest teams in the second half of the season. Now he's going to have another weapon in Klay. Do you think Luka's three-point shots will drop a little bit and Klay will get those shots? Do you think Luka's still going to jack up 5 to 7 threes a game?
I think if Luka wants to win a championship going forward, period, he has to become a more trusting distributor and player on the team. I think he gets in this mindset to where, and this is just me guessing, of course, but based on trends of the game and things like that, Luka can, I think, lose faith in his teammates as games get closer, tighter, and he feels like he takes on more of the role and responsibility. But I think that's a maturity and a faith in your team kind of thing. And so whatever it takes for him to buy in more to the team, I think long term will be a boost for the team overall, if that makes sense. Like the more that he realizes that it doesn't have to be all him, I think the
Mm.
better off be. Also, they got, they started a rookie, or I don't know at what point they started him, if it was whole season, but I definitely think that Luka is making progress in terms of how he feels about his teammates. Not that he probably not a nice teammate or fun to be around in the locker room, but when it comes down to crunch time on the court, can you trust it? Can you trust all your guys the way, say, a Boston and Denver trust their guys to hit a three? You know what I mean? It's if one of the Dallas guys isn't hot, will Lucas still trust them? And
Mhm.
so, like I said, I think Luke is still pretty young. I think the Klay Thompson being there can help alleviate some of that idea in his head, but I don't know if it's going to completely change the way he plays in crunch time when things get tight, when the other guys maybe aren't playing up to your standard. Are you still going to trust your team? I think Klay helps alleviate some of that. Even though he's not what he used to be, his role has changed too. He's not just expected to be this number two guy and leader of the team. He going to change the dynamic for Klay as well. So I'm interested to see the chemistry with the team in the regular season, and then see if that translates to any difference with Luka and how he plays in the playoffs in terms of trusting his teammates.
Yeah, I like the move for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, the West is stacked.
Stat.
Denver's going to come back. Denver's going to come back hungrier. Minnesota's going to come back hungrier. So I do like the move that Dallas made. But I guess I'm still with Clay's ties to the Lakers, deep ties to the Lakers, and the fact that they offered more money. I'm really shocked that he didn't go there.
And
Um,
apparently his dad was really wanting him to go there.
of course, yeah. Any father who played for a team, who was a piece of championships for a team, would want their kid to eventually play for that team, especially his dad's still on payroll. So it's just like, I was really shocked that he said, usually with LeBron, it's 50-50. Some players fuck with him, some players don't. I was really shocked that Clay didn't go there. I was really shocked by that. But it is a good fit for him in Dallas. Maybe he thought he would get more minutes in Dallas. Maybe he didn't want to deal with the circus that's going to be in LA with new
Mm-hmm.
head coach that's never coached before. And then, media attention with Bronny and stuff. So that could be his motivation. So good move for Dallas. Good move for Clay. Let's see what they do next season, of course, or this upcoming season. My boy, Paul George, ended up in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia is building a very nice, long defensive squad up there. They was not already a bad defensive team. They're okay defensively, but dude, they between re-signing Oubre, long and can shoot, bringing in Paul George, long and can shoot. Now they're bringing in Caleb Martin, one of your 3D guys, 3 and D guys. So it's like Philly's looking strong as fuck. I've always been a fan of Philly. Every year, something happens and the wheels fall off, but I've always been a fan of Philly. Philly's always been deep the last couple of years. What do you think of this move with Paul George? Should Boston be worried now about Philly with the addition of Paul George and them reinventing their bench a little bit?
Anybody should be worried about Philly if Embiid's healthy at that time.
Mm.
And for me, it still comes to that because yeah, Paul George is a very nice addition. Um, but if Embiid's not healthy, I still think they're limited in how far they can go. But
Mm.
so for me, it's still Embiid. However, there to me on paper, if everybody's healthy, they should be able to give Boston a run for the East. For as stacked as the West is, the top end of the East is going to be really tough. If you take Boston, Philly, and New York, you could argue, got better as well. So
Oh, they did. Yeah.
it's gonna be a dogfight at the top end of the Eastern Conference. But yeah, I like the moves Philly made. Bold move in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what that team looks like in the regular season with all those guys healthy. It's going to be an exciting team to watch because Paul George to me still has a lot to offer.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm excited to see him next to Maxey and Embiid.
Apparently, Paul George has been working with LeBron off the record as far as learning how to change his game as he gets older. So that's something I read a couple of days ago. As far as the Clippers, let me ask you this question. How do you feel about pretty much what I think is the nail in the coffin for the Los Angeles Clippers?
Yeah, I mean they fucked up big time. Um, the trade to get Paul George now looks like a disaster. Um, you haven't been able to win anything, not substantially, since you brought Kawhi and PG there. Um, it's kind of like a weird thing where they have a reputation for like a reason, and it's not for lack of trying, but it's almost like they keep trying to do something similar to what Brooklyn does, and it's just not working out for whatever reason. A lot of injury problems both teams really. So I think like if I was the Clippers or any other team, Kawhi Leonard is a great player, but I mean, are you banking and paying him so much to be the main guy on your team when he's never around when he really needs to be? Because I wouldn't. Um, it's just you take chances. You never know when someone's going to get hurt. Your star player could be out for a season. That season's gone. Like, you know, but it's happened a lot to Kawhi, and I just wonder if it's worth bringing in these stars that are always missing time. I mean, does that translate to wins? Is it translating to the money you want to make? I just don't know. I just know if I was the Clippers, I think I would have went into full blown rebuild because
Mhm.
the other guy you're leaning on now is James Harden. And it's like how reliable, how consistent is that situation going to be because he has a history himself. Not necessarily with injury, but with becoming unhappy and leaving. So I feel like Clippers had a good plan. They weren't able to stay healthy at the right time, and now at this point, Paul George is gone. It seems like they're just going to reshuffle a little bit and go back with what they have, but I don't think it's enough, especially in the West. It's just not enough to win anything substantially. If I was Clippers fans, I'd be pretty upset that we're probably going to be middle of the road again with some flashes of greatness and then not really have anything to show for it.
Got it. They're also are dangling Russell Westbrook out there as a trade to see if they could get some more pieces back in to kind of rebuild their bench as well. So I don't know. I mean, you got Kawhi, you got James Harden. Kawhi did play most of the season last year, but in the
Mhm.
playoffs again, that's when that ugly
Mhm.
injury monster crept back up. So I do agree with you that it's time to do a full rebuild, blow that thing up, get Kawhi out of there, get Harden out of there, and just rebuild it. I do believe in that. So who knows what they're gonna do? But as of right now, it was a waste of 5 years. They're no longer championship contenders right now. Like they would really have to prove us wrong. Um, which will fall on the heels of James Harden, and we know how he plays in the regular season versus how he plays in the playoffs. So I can't take them serious anymore. I think the Clippers are dead in the water. The Lakers may be the kings of LA again. They don't even got to do shit because the Clippers are just, um,
Mhm.
they flatline, bro. They've really flatlined.
Real quick, do
Um,
you think Denver, for the second year in a row, has fallen off a step?
as far
In ter-
as
well, it's not like they're losing their star players, right? But
right,
they lost a starter this season. They lost Bruce Brown the previous season. Do you believe it's like that they don't put enough value into that championship team anymore? Do you think they're putting
no,
enough effort into retaining who they think they should retain?
no, I wouldn't say that. No matter who's on that team, if Murray and Jokic are healthy, they're gonna be contenders. I don't think they lost last year because they lost Bruce Brown. That's not why they lost in the playoffs last year. Um,
Mm.
they just relaxed. And they relaxed a little too much, despite what Michael Malone wanted, because he was all on their asses. Denver just relaxed last year. They had a little bit of the fat cat. So maybe this year they can get some of that fire back because, like I said, Minnesota's not going anywhere. Dallas has gotten stronger. If the Lakers can stay healthy, they're still in the conversation, between, with LeBron and AD if they can stay healthy. So which I believe last year the Lakers had the biggest shot to beat Denver, and the wheels fell off there. Um, but no, I don't think them losing KCP damages them because they do have some young guys on the bench who can hit an open shot. They'll lose a little bit defensively, but I
Mm.
still think Denver's going to be hard to deal with.
Oh, for
Hard
sure,
to deal
hard.
with. Yeah.
For sure.
Um, just by Michael Malone as a head coach is amazing. Just by his sheer will, they're going to be hard to deal with because he don't play. If they're playing bad, he don't play.
I was just
So
wondering
since
if
you
you
brought,
if you had to say since their championship year, even if it's in increment like small increments, would you say you think they've gotten better or worse?
they've been flat. So they haven't gotten any better. They haven't gotten any worse. They've been flat. But flat for them is an NBA championship. That's just it. Um, but since you brought up KCP, we know he was landed by the Orlando Magic. How do you feel about that?
It's honestly a perfect fit for what he does and what we expect of our guys and what we needed. He can hit a 3-point shot. Yay! We can stop listening to people complain about that for right now. At least we'll see how much that translates to making threes for us and spreading the floor more for Paolo and Franz because that's pretty much what they want. Um, quit crowding the paint for those guys. Um, it does raise a question in terms of who should be the main ball handler for us bringing the ball up. A lot of last season was Paolo and Franz bringing the ball up, which is fine sometimes. But Paolo even specifically in an interview said, it'd be nice. We need a guy who can be a table setter and get guys in their spots and give them the ball in the right spots. And so on paper, we still don't have that. Now, if the plan is to move Jalen Suggs to the full-time starting point guard role and allow him to do some of that, then that's fine if that's the plan. I just have to see it. I have to
Mhm.
see how that's going to work out because for as much as Jalen Suggs has been criticized over his 3 seasons, he did take a leap this last season, and he's shown progression every year in terms of what they've really asked him to do. So I believe in his ability to grow and learn as a player. I just need to see to what extent and how effective he is at that. Now, outside of the offensive end, there's nothing not to like about this because you could argue now that the Magic have the best defensive backcourt in the league. KCP, I saw a list the other day. It said in terms of like best players or who guards the other team's best players the most, I think KCP was number 4 on that list, and Jalen Suggs was like number 5.
Mhm.
And their effectiveness on those players is high. So I think defensively we got better. The size is what the Magic like. The championship experience, I think, is huge for this young team. He's the perfect fit for the Magic. So there's nothing to not like about that move. I don't think I saw any negative reactions. I don't feel bad about missing out on the rumor that we were in the running for Clay or Paul George, because just the fact that we were in those conversations for a minute was good enough for me to change some of the attitude towards the team. But we talked before the end of last season that the Magic really didn't need to do much. There's a lot of fans who just like to see their teams do something for the sake of doing something to add some excitement. But really,
And they're idiots.
we know. But really, with the Magic being so young, they didn't need to make the biggest move yet. They just needed to let their young guys develop a little bit more. Paolo develop. Year 3 Paolo, I think, is going to be insane, if I'm being honest. So I like the KCP move. I didn't think we would need to do anything too big anyways. Was it exciting for a few days to think maybe we could get Paul George? Yeah, it's exciting to see what's going on. But what we would have had to give up to get him were sacrificed. I just don't know if it was the right move for this young of a team. It seemed like Cleveland went in on Mitchell maybe a little too early. And I know they just re-signed him as well, and they had some playoff success, but still they're not contenders in my eyes. So you got to be careful when you go all in. I feel like, especially with a young team, I just don't feel like the Magic need to do that yet. There wasn't a real reason to do it. So I love the KCP get. That's really the only difference the Magic have made to their roster this summer, besides letting Joe Ingles walk. Looks like they're going to let Fultz and OKK walk as well, which none of that is really unpredicted. Or I think most Magic fans thought
Oh
that was going to
no.
happen.
No, what happened to all those folks, dick riders? Where they at right now? Because they're real quiet. Where they at?
They're not. Well, they're not. If you're on Magic Twitter, you would. They are not quiet. They are all wishing him the best. Everybody loves Fultz.
Oh,
He's just not right for the team. A player can move on and you not hate them, know that they have
oh,
flaws and that's not a good fit for your team. So I don't
awesome.
understand that.
This isn't directed at you, but it took them 4 years to realize that he wasn't going to pan out in Orlando. That's all I'm saying, because they were talking to him outside of JJ Redick. They were talking about folks like he was the second coming to Jesus in Orlando. So I just wanted to put that out there. Where are they now? Because your boy has told everyone for years Fultz was never a good fit for that team. It's a good story, but as far as
That's what
basketball,
it
he was
is. I
never a
don't.
good
I don't
fit.
think most Magic fans aren't going to say we need him back for basketball reasons because he can't make a
Mm,
shot. Now with our best players playing the style they do play, we need someone who can
mm,
knock down shots. It'd be different if the team was set up differently and we didn't need Fultz to shoot. We need
mm.
whoever's playing that position to shoot. That's it. Nothing else against Fultz. It's just not the style and the point guard that we need. So I'll leave it at that. I do hope the best for him because I do like Fultz. It's just not a good fit for us anymore.
Never was. Um, so your
But
boy
moving on,
Franz got
let's
paid.
say, huh?
Well, I was gonna say about Franz, I was throwing you a bone there.
Oh yeah, we
So
find
so
strong.
yeah, Franz got paid. So how you feel about that? Despite the one weakness we saw in Game 7, I think he's good for it. So how proud of you of that he got his bag.
There's a guy on Twitter, I forget his name, but he has been getting killed for days for Magic fans because he posted a video saying, "How is this not being talked about more as the biggest overpay and gross overpay in in league history?" is what he called it. And it said, not only did he have a disappointing Game 7, which we wouldn't even have been in that Game 7 without Franz, because there was a couple games where he balled. So I don't, but also, this guy said he had a down season. Now let me ask you, Cam. If you raised your stats in every category except 3-point shooting percentage, would you say it was a down year for you?
Probably not. If I'm that caliber player, I'm so versatile. The 3-point isn't my first go-to option as far as scoring. So no, I wouldn't say that was a down year.
Everything else he got better in. His defense is underrated. I don't think his ability to get to the basket and score is underrated. But in today's NBA, you have a down 3-point shooting year, and I guess everybody thinks you're trash. I don't think any Magic fan who really watches the team, and so I'm excluding casuals, anybody that watches Franz and has watched him the whole time he's been here, I don't think anybody was surprised that he got the max.
You know what? Let me pause you for a minute. I want to say this about the casuals because they have to be addressed too because they're fucking idiots and they're the ones that push false and fake narratives on social media. So the casuals can kiss my ass because the guy that probably said this is probably a casual and Magic hater and yada yada yada. And is probably going to wear a Boston Celtics fan for the duration of the season. So yeah, to the casuals, fuck you. Your opinion doesn't matter here. Sorry.
It is exactly that, because if you look at what Franz has done since coming into the league, the other players who were in the same class, I mean, Toronto loves to argue Scotty Barnes versus Franz Wagner. They love to do it.
They're bored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you see what he got. I forget the other guy that they bring up a lot. I don't think it's OG. It's maybe Emmanuel Quickly. I think could be the other guard I'm thinking about. Anyways, Franz didn't get some crazy amount of money that those guys didn't get. Like, he is very much in the vein of a max for a rookie that came in that year. And so if that's the case, and considering everything Franz has done, it shouldn't have been a surprise, and it's not an overpay. It's people have been complaining for years since Shaq, even though it's not the issue anymore, that the Magic don't pay their people. We definitely do. And Franz, despite what some people think, he was the beginning of the actual hope of the franchise. Came in, Mose was here. Franz was here before Paolo. Franz was here, and we didn't expect anything out of him. He wasn't the first round pick, but he was the first guy who really gave us some more hope going forward. Like, oh, we have a good player. And so, to me, it was a no-brainer. I was expecting him to get the max. So, like I said, I'm all for it. We paid his brother too now as to come back, so both those brothers are coming.
So
I'm
Mo
excited.
got paid twice because he gonna get some of Franz money. Then he got some money, so Mo gets paid twice. I'll take that deal.
He's gonna corner him in his room and say, "Give me some money, little brother," and punch him
Right.
in the arm. Give me some fucking money.
Couple of things before we wrap up. I don't know how I can say this. Sometimes you can tell when a player is after a championship. Sometimes you can tell when a player is after a bag. I know the Sacramento Kings are a decent team. I am disgusted that DeMar DeRozan decided to sign with the Sacramento Kings over a contender like Los Angeles, Miami. I can't remember. There's another team involved in there. I'm shocked by that because I don't think the Kings actually needed that piece, but he obviously went after the $7 million bag. So, am I mad at a person for getting money? No, but you can't tell me that you're trying to win a championship in Sacramento. I can't reconcile that. He could have went to the fucking Pacers and had a better shot at this point in Sacramento. So I'm just like, I can't reconcile that. What do you think about the move? Do you think it moves the needle for Sacramento? Because I just think even as good as they did a couple of years ago, this year it was kind of flat. I don't think it moves the needle for them. What do you think?
You can almost argue they felt like they took a step back, like they lost all their momentum from the previous season. That's how I felt. And I like the Kings. I like their story in the last couple seasons. I low key, if they're not playing the Magic, I like to see them do well. They're one of the teams. I like their players. So I think it moves the needle, but very limited. And it doesn't really put them it doesn't put them over the top in the West is stacked. So it's going to be, it's still going to be very tough for them. I mean, DeRozan has proven that he's still got plenty to give. It's not like he's not a good player. I just don't know. You know, you also have Malik Monk there. You have De'Aaron Fox there, and Sabonis is basically, you know, the ball handler, at least once they get the ball across court. So it's just like, I need to see it. I need to see it in practice, see how effective it is. But I still don't think it's the only move that Sacramento needs to make to get back to where, or to make more progress. So I really don't know what the right answer for Sacramento is, because last year was pretty surprising to me, actually. So
yeah,
the West, you don't have any room in the West for you almost can't stay flat. You almost just have to constantly be getting better. I mean, look at the Lakers who really haven't done anything significant, and they've fallen off since their championship. They've fallen off, you could argue. The Thunder are young. Minnesota's young. Denver still looks like one of the best teams.
Dallas is still young, believe it or not.
Yeah, so I don't. It's a weird move. I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's going to get DeMar what they want or what he wants, and I don't think it's going to get Sacramento to where they want to be. So I actually don't think it's the best move. I need to see it in practice. But it leads me to another question. If you're done with Sacramento, unless you want to talk about them.
Well, I was just going to say really quick, it seems like it's going to be a similar situation between DeRozan and Levine in Chicago. It's like, okay, is De'Aaron Fox going to take a step back to accommodate DeRozan, or is DeRozan finally going to be like, hey, I'm getting older, let me let this kid have it? So that is, I don't understand the move. I don't understand the move. But go ahead.
He also paid Monk to come back, and I know he's off the bench, but still he plays a lot with those guys. He plays significant minutes, and you know, often does have the ball in his hands too. So, but what I wanted to ask is, it's been 2 seasons for the Heat now, where you could argue you've lost some of your role players, and you know, you've been sending me info about possibly getting DeRozan and possibly getting, like, you know, whatever player. And so far, it's been a couple of swings and misses. And over the last couple of seasons, you've lost some of those role players that you guys, you know, developed and kind of put in the spotlight through playoffs and things like that. how do you feel about your Heat going forward and what they've done the last couple seasons? You have an aging Jimmy Butler. It's not like Bam's
Don't be
old.
don't be
I'm
disrespectful to
not.
Jimmy.
I'm
Don't
just
be
stating the
disrespectful.
obvious. You know, you've been ready. You've been ready to get. You've been ready to blow this team up for 2 seasons. So how do you feel outside of
Outside of
Bam?
Butler and Bam and Butler,
Yeah,
I've been yeah. So
but
this
all
is what
you've
I was.
done really is lost guys, and you haven't been able to bring anybody else in. So how do you feel about the front office right now and their moves this last summer? Because what have you guys really done?
We have the best front office in the NBA. We have the best scouting department in the NBA, and here's why I say that. And I was going to actually end the podcast with this, so I'm glad that you brought this up. But I'll try to make it short. I promise. Um, and Pat Riley, I trust. Whatever the Heat decides to do, I'm with it 1,000%.
I know
The
that. I
reason
know.
why the reason why I say we have the greatest coaching staff and scouting department is we could take a player like Caleb Martin, who no one wanted. He was cut from Charlotte when everybody thought he was the better of the twins, and then he was cut from Charlotte. We brought him in, rehabilitated him. He's gotten 2 nice-sized contracts since he's been in Miami. I hated to see him leave.
Mhm.
Miami offered him more money to stay, but he left to go to Philly to possibly win a championship.
Mhm.
So he did the opposite of what DeMar DeRozan did. I can't be mad at Caleb for that. I'm thankful for Caleb for the years that he gave us because he was fucking fantastic in his role. And that's exactly how I was going to end this podcast. Speaking on Caleb and how much I love Caleb. Um, but as far as what the Heat have done, what we've always proven year over year, no matter what role players come in and out the door, we always have enough because no one wants to play a healthy Heat team in a 7-game series. Whether if it's Jimmy Bam and a bunch of no names, or if it's Jimmy Bam, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry, whoever, no one wants to see us in the 7-game series. We don't have to do much. I still would like to see Westbrook on the team off the bench. Um, I know we were dangling Tyler Hero just a little bit, because he's the one that's held this team back. Let's just be realistic. He's held this team back for the last 5 years. Duncan Robinson rehabilitated himself last year, and Tyler Hero's been flat for like the last 3 years. So
You think your lack of moves has been because of other teams' lack of interest in Hero, and that's the guy you want to move?
that, and we're cap strapped. So we're not going to go and spend millions of dollars extra over the luxury tax versus we already are. When we can respectfully put a bunch of no names out there and still compete. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. So as far as home runs, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, I don't care about all that. I want them to put this team in the best position so that Jimmy can get a championship with the Miami Heat. That window is closing. It's damn near closed now. Okay.
Mhm.
Bam got his money this offseason. Jimmy's gonna play this season to earn his contract for next year. So I'm happy about that. So those 20 to 30 games Jimmy takes off every year, he's probably not going to do that this year because he wants that big contract next year. So I can respect him for that. But no, I'm okay with the Heat, whatever they decide to do, because I know once it's playoff time, no one wants to see us. That's it.
It's gonna be
What
interesting to
else you
see what
got?
happens.
What else you got? What else you got? I was ready. I was ready for some Heat bullshit to be thrown my way. You saw how I handled that, right? With a smile. A little smile. I have faith, not hope. I have faith in my team. Now we'll be fine.
We'll have to
Um,
remember this episode because if you guys get bounced in the first round again, we're gonna have some
no, no,
real
no, no, no,
discussions
no,
about real
no, no, no,
change.
no, 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 no. That doesn't count because our best player did not play. So if
I
Cleveland would
know,
have beat y'all and y'all
I
didn't
know,
have Paolo, it wouldn't have
but
counted. And
that is a testament to I know injuries happen, but Jimmy isn't a young spring chicken anymore. So, with him playing those extra 20 whatever games he took off, is there a chance that wear and tear can catch up to him in the playoffs now because of his age as well? I don't think it's a crazy thing to keep in mind.
He's not
Jimmy
40.
Jimmy
He's
needs help there.
34.
Jimmy needs help.
He's not 40. He's 34.
He's
And
50 because he used to play for Thibodeau. Let's be real. Let's be real. He's played a lot. Okay.
Look, and kind of you're right. That's cute. And kind of like the conversation you had with friends when I thought Bam couldn't get any better. Bam actually stepped up offensively last year and stepped up his rebounding. So it's the third piece. It's the third piece that's holding us back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in this world who think Tyler Hero is a great white hope for whatever reason. He is not.
He's a decent player. He's nothing special.
Listen, this is what he is. Tyler Hero can be the best player on a bad team, a la Trae Young. But Tyler Hero's not
sixth man of the year.
Or best six man, right. But what he's not is a good third option. For whatever reason, he's not that. And I can't figure it out. But good six man, best player on a bad team, not a good third option for the Heat. And then there's one more thing I want to squeeze in here because I do have to run. Chris Paul to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, every generation, there's a player who's great, but who doesn't win a championship. Do you think now, at the end, Chris Paul is going to be that guy?
Yeah,
because he's knocking on 40. He's knocking on 40.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Carmelo didn't get a ring either.
Correct.
But Chris Paul's been in the league. You could argue, it's not, you can't not have to argue. Chris Paul's been in the league a very long time.
It's been longer than Melo. Mm-hmm.
Way longer, I'd say. So it's one of those things where, especially with the hype and what Paul was early on in his career, you could say one of the best players in the league. You could argue best point guard in the league a few seasons, that kind of thing. I don't even feel bad. Like, it's one of those things. I like Chris Paul, but he's kind of always had that attitude about him too. That's like, I don't know. I don't feel bad for him either, kind of thing. Like he's made his choices. He's gotten paid. He's been on. He's got to go do whatever he's really wanted to do. He's had a lot of clout for a very long time. Some guys just don't win championships. Everyone can't win a championship. So
tell the casuals that. We know that, but tell the casuals that.
They can fuck off. I get tired of seeing this shit on Twitter.
That's how it goes. That Phoenix series in the finals where they were up 2-0 to Milwaukee and they lost the next 4 straight games will haunt him for the rest of his life. It really will.
Well, he should have played harder then.
We're not doing that now. He was hobbled. We're not gonna do that.
If you want to win, go out there and fucking play hard. I don't care.
He was hobbled, but
he's always hobbled. He's always hobbled in the playoffs.
Hey, your boy Booker was too. You see, we don't talk about him anymore.
No, we would. Tatum would have been dangerously close to that if he hadn't won.
Well, he did. So for a year, we got to deal with him and the real Boston fans, and then we got to deal with Deuce as well. So
Boston ain't going nowhere. Boston, they're gonna be deep playoffs next year too.
We said the same thing about Denver. Like, who knows, right? Because if Philly can stay healthy, I'm picking Philly to win the championship.
Minnesota fucked up everything. They fucked up everything.
Hey, blame it, man.
Good for them. I'm saying that, but they did.
As a preview for next week's episode, Team USA is going to start their exhibition games, I believe, Tuesday. So we'll probably talk about that next week. I will say one more thing. Sorry, I've been stretching this thing out. Bronny had 4 points in the Summer League debut yesterday. I didn't see the jumper, but I saw this running layup that he made, and I was like, okay, the kid, okay, it was a good move. It was a good basketball move, so I like that. Um, might be something there. He's still little at 6'1", but it might be something there. Um, but yeah, everybody's gonna be watching Summer League now to see Bronny play. But
I care more about the 18th pick, Tristan De Silva for the Magic, than I
who?
ever could about Bronny.
Who?
The guy who got drafted in the first round for the Magic, not the whatever 50th, 100th
55th
pick
or
in the
54th
second
pick.
round. I don't really care about that.
On that note, please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always respond. Everyone stay safe, and we are out.